Alright. Got you on stream, let's see. Alright. Perfect.
Ooh, crispy game feed.
Crispy game feed. Cool. Alright, I'm ready when you are. Let's see. Timer, does it say? Yep, that works. Okay, yeah, I'm ready. Whenever you are.
We should probably get on a new file.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. Wait. So wait. I'm live now.
You're live now, yeah?
Yeah, game feed
All right.
is on, yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to this video game that is impossible to beat. And today we are going to try and make it possible.
Whoa.
For the first time ever, we're gonna be beating this game.
All right. So real quick, I'm gonna show this off before the run starts. So on the title screen right here, if you go and hold down on your control stick for I'm gonna show this off before the run starts. So on the title screen right here, if you go and hold down on your control stick for a few seconds and then press start. Okay. This sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But okay, there we go. So if you hear that sound, then that basically means that you've done this minor trick, right? Basically, in this game, what they added in this game is the ability to spin while you're in midair by pressing the jump button. And because I'm very used to the original game for the Wii U, some strats will have that mechanic throw me off a lot. So all right. Anyway, so I'm gonna assume that Toadette won.
I think so.
Yes.
That
Alright.
volume is
We're playing Toadette.
Let's do it.
Yeah, dude.
okay. People are saying that volume is it's quiet. So
In practice.
Okay, I'm turning you up right now.
Also, we are playing.
Okay, I turned you up a little bit. You should be better now.
okay.
All right. So time does not start until I start moving on the map, which is about less than 2 minutes from now. So are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
Alright, good luck.
Good luck.
All right. Hello, everyone. Here we go.
Alright, good luck.
Good luck.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is M. And joining me today is King J0444. He is
Hi, that's me.
he is the best new Super Luigi U player in the world, and so he is going to basically criticize me on how well I'm doing on this run. So pay attention to him, everyone.
I'd say I'm far from the best.
This is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. This is the remake of the original New Super Mario Bros. U for the Nintendo Wii U. Came out on January 11, 2019, so 4 months ago. As far as people are going to ask, what are the differences? There aren't really any major differences in the level designs. There are some different aesthetics for some levels, but make no real difference in gameplay. The game also added New Super Luigi U into this version as well, which is the game that I'm playing. As for the difference between Mario and Luigi U, this game, in Luigi U, everything's the same except for the levels. The levels are, however, similarly themed to Mario U. There's no Mario, you get to play as Luigi. The physics are different. Luigi jumps higher, he slips more, and he has floatier jumps. And this game also has a 100-second time limit, so a lot of levels are really short, so this is going to be a pretty fast game. Time's actually about to begin pretty soon, so ready, and go.
Alright, so yeah, as you mentioned, these levels are much quicker, and they're also a lot shorter than New Super Mario. remember as you, which makes for a faster speedrun. And as stated, we did have to switch to the deluxe version. We were going to do the original New Super Luigi U on the Wii U. We had to do the Switch version because there was an issue with M-Chan's gamepad control stick.
I wanna thank JoeDamillio. Like this was like literally last moment for letting me play this game as like a backup right here. I did not have any other alternatives. So that was 1-1. Joey, how was 1-1?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, thank you. So
it's a good start.
So the main power-up in this game is the Super Acorn. It allows you to turn to a squirrel, as you can see right here, and I'm going to be keeping it throughout most of the run. You can get a 99 pipe entrance right there. It barely saves anything, but it just looks cool to get.
Yeah, we're talking about the in-game timer, by the way. Yeah, start the timer. Back in the good old... Oh yeah, and also there's a bunch of stars here. He's gonna be chaining together to get through this level a lot quicker than usual.
I'm gonna probably I'm gonna wait here. I could have probably got a 78 right there, but I wasn't feeling confident about that. So when you end a level with with the end timer being a double-digit number, you get fireworks, which loses about 15 seconds. So that's why I waited for about a second and a half for that.
Yeah, he could have taken the risk and got a 178, but again, that's really risking it there. And so like he mentioned, we started time on the first movement on the overworld. That actually got changed from the old days of OG and SLU, because we used to start at the beginning of the cutscene, and now it's we skipped 2 minutes. Also, the Switch version actually has slower loads than OG and SLU. That's like the big difference between this version and the OG version on the Wii U. And so this is our first time we're going to be seeing Boom Boom. Don't worry, we'll be seeing him a lot more than just once. You're going to see him a good, 8 times. Actually, no, 6. So this is all castles. We don't have to do the fortresses, which is what we're doing here. We can skip those if we want, or if we're able to. But what matters most is that we have to beat every end of the world castle, which means fighting all the Koopalings, and basically unlocking every world.
Yeah, so we have to basically beat every world as fast as we can. It's basically the warpless category. This differs from any percent because in any percent you skip worlds 2, 4, 6, and 2, 3, 4, and 6. And in this category we do all of them. This is it's about twice as long as any percent, and also twice as fun. I like to think. So in the tower right there, it's normally our first instance where you switch the to Nabbit, because we're gonna be playing as Toadette only in this run, and Nabbit is a character that got introduced into the original New Super Luigi U, where essentially the short term for Nabbit is he can't die. He can run through enemies without caring, and he can still fall off and get knocked back by really big enemies, but for the most part he's otherwise used for levels that have a lot of enemies that are really hard to avoid.
Yeah, and in the original version of this game you could switch on the fly by holding the ZL button while entering a level to switch to Nabbit, but now you actually have to go into a whole menu to switch characters, so it's not as worth it now to switch to Nabbit. And plus, we're playing as Toadette only now, so.
Yeah, and Toadette is a new character that got introduced to this game. A lot of people usually come to my stream and ask, what is the difference between Toadette? What differs Toadette from the other characters? And that is, well, in a speedrun, Toadette is very similar. Her gameplay is very similar, except Toadette has she slips less than the other characters, so it makes quick turning a lot easier with her. And she also has more time. So normally in this game you get a 100-second time limit, but she has 100 more seconds in this game.
Yeah, and that's basically what Nabbit and Toadette do. They add a little bit extra time for you in case the time limit is a little too worrying.
in casually, they are referred to as the easy mode of this game. But for
I refer to. Sorry, go ahead.
but for Toadette, her speedrun is. I like to think her speedrun is actually harder, and that is because Toadette actually has a new power up in this game called the Super Crown that allows her to turn into Peachette. We don't use Peachette in this run because Peachette is slower. I like to compare that to like the Super Mario Brothers 3's Super Leaf, where it's like slow to have in a speedrun, but nice in a casual playthrough. In this game, there's a lot of Super Crowns if you're playing as Toadette, which makes Acorn management a lot harder in the speedrun.
Yeah, and for Toadette, I usually, it's a common running joke that I refer to Toadette mode as new funky mode for this game, basically, because this is a Wii U port, just like how Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was a Wii U port, and all they added in that was a new character, and that was Funky. So I call Toadette new funky mode, basically. And that's our first castle defeated.
Yeah, so that was Lemmy Koopa. A lot of the bosses in this game are fairly straightforward as long as you fight them exactly the same way. There are hard bosses coming up later on, so keep your eyes.
Yeah, we'll get to those. Well, we have a cutscene here to open up our next world, so if there's any donations, this would be a good time.
It's actually great because I do have 2 of them to read off. First off, Linus donated $15 for that NHL 94 scoring tech reveal by none other than JD, Just Defend the God himself. And, you know, looks like multiple people besides, you know, myself and Linus want to see that. Hito donated $10 saying, I love you, Dez. Good luck in your... And she also put that towards the NHL 94 scoring tech reveal, so... You know, Just Defend better be getting ready to possibly show the world how to be a hockey god.
A hockey god.
Might have to get ready for some competition.
Alright, so what's interesting about this level in this version is because you can play as because you can manually select Nabbit, in the regular category, the regular version of this category, you actually use Nabbits for this level, even though it's about a second slower. But when you have Nabbit out here, there's this cutscene, and Nabbits, when you play as Nabbits for this level, it actually skips this cutscene, which is about 30 seconds that you save right off the bat. But because we're only using Toadette, we are going to be watching this cutscene.
Yeah, and that's the thing, if you were playing the Wii U version, even though you play as a Nabbit in a level, when you come back to the world screen, you'll still be Luigi, so you still get that cutscene.
And when you catch Nabbit, we're not going to be catching Nabbit in this run because it's too far out of the way, but when you catch Nabbit, you get an item called the PA Corn. Which there are some levels that have some pretty cool struts with the PA Corn, because it allows you to fly infinite times. Unfortunately, it's too far out of the way. In 100%, there's a lot of really cool strats with the PA Corn.
Yeah, and we use those in 100%.
So this is another level that's pretty difficult when you're not using Nabbits, but there are some strats around it, as you can see right here. I had to do that little like duck near the beginning so I can avoid being hit by that piranha plant. Otherwise, this level would be pretty tough to learn.
And also, we took some safety with this run. We didn't mention it earlier, but M-Chan did grab a safety acorn back in World 1 after beating the first fortress. And that's just in case he loses his acorn, because the acorn is the power-up that you want to have for the majority of this run.
Yeah, it's like I said, acorn management's a lot harder with Toadette.
Yeah, just a backup in case we have some issues, because it's a no reset. And also another time save from the Wii U version is that Miiverse is no longer a thing, so there's no Miiverse option So there's no cutscene asking you if you want to. 5 seconds. And so this is 2- Fortress. This is a really, I'd say this is like the funnest level. Funnest, that's not a word, but it's the most fun level to optimize. Just because you have these turnstiles that you're using, and they move these platforms, so you kind of figure out how far you can turn them before you have to start moving.
So for this Boom Boom fight, Hammock powers up Boom Boom to make him do something different, to make him harder, but either way, like I said, every boss isn't really hard as long as you fight them the same way. So there was so at the beginning of the fight there, I did a very particular jump to set up for the first hit.
Yeah, and for like the majority of all the boss fights, they usually spend half their time lying on the ground.
Alright, so coming up is probably the worst part of the run. We have a Goomba and a Fire Bro that we have to get past here, and anytime you move on the map, it basically changes their RNG. Where they move is completely random. You cannot predict where they're gonna move. So basically, I have to hope that I get past these guys without running into them, and it's not in my control if I end up getting hit by them.
Yeah, so this is completely RNG, and this is where you can lose up to like around a minute sometimes if it's really bad.
And we're through. All right, cool. We got to run.
Nice. That wasn't that bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that was actually really good. All right, so I'm gonna do 2-4, and even though this level's like really hard, Okay, so we're gonna get the secret exit here, and that's gonna sound a little weird because the secret exit's gonna take you to 2-secret, which skips to World 5. This will actually make sense later.
Yeah, and you may be wondering, like you said, some people are gonna be like, "Oh, you said this is a warpless category. What gives?" It'll make sense. Trust us. In all castles for New Super Mario Bros. U, which is the other half of this game, we would actually take the secret exit in World 1-2, but it's a little bit slower for New Super Luigi U.
By the way, everybody in chat, anytime, go ahead and like spam as many emotes as you like. If anything that you see is impressive. We're here to have fun. Alright, so now we're going to do the level again, and we're going to get the normal exit. This level's on a cycle, and if I'm on the right cycle, I can do a very, very dumb jump right here. It looks like that. Well, if you're not on the right cycle, that won't work.
Yeah, that cycle is a little hard to make.
Yeah, that's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah. And again, like when you're playing this casually, make this game seem really easy. That's because he's poured like a lot of hours into this game on both Wii U and Switch. So like,
this game is actually not easy.
It's pretty hard.
The movement in this game is by far the hardest part of the run. Once you get the movement down, then a lot of the tricks that you can do in this game aren't the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
All right, so we saw this earlier in 1-3, but 2-4 also reintroduces rolling hills terrain, and so whenever you spin jump off of anything that's moving, you actually preserve that momentum. So I'm doing a lot of spin jumping right here, so I can gain a lot of speed off of these rolling hills.
Yeah, and you can easily see like the difference between the normal flying speed compared to when he does the spin jump.
And I'm also not doing a lot of spin jumps just for fun, like throughout the run. Spin jumping actually is the height of a regular triple jump. So for some places where I can't make with a regular jump, I will be spin jumping, and that extra height does make quite a big difference.
Yeah. So yeah, right here we're going to be in World 2's castle, so we're going to be taking on Morton, our second boss of the run. It's another cycle-based level.
This level is very straightforward, and otherwise in like let's say 100%, so we have to get the star points. This level is actually like really hard.
Yeah. And this game is like 100% is definitely the most skill-based category. All Castles is kind of a mix between any percent and 100%. Minus the star points, of course. Alright, so now we're fighting.
Normally, so you can actually do a damage boost in this fight to get to hit Morton quicker, but I'm gonna fly over the pokey. And it does save 2 seconds in-game time, but then that also means I have to re-equip Acorn after level, which takes longer than doing the damage boost.
Yeah.
I also delayed that first hit. You can hit him earlier than I hit him, but Morton's hammer has a really huge hitbox, so you can actually get hit while you're hitting him. So I chose not to risk that.
Yeah, and again, if you just jump over him and know where he's going to land, because he always hits the corners 3 times each time he goes back and forth. So if you know where he's going to end up at, you can just skip the whole pokey part for the second and third phase of the boss fight.
So King J, how was World 2?
Pretty decent. We had good RNG, so that's all that I was hoping for.
That's what I like to hear. That's why you're here.
That's the only reason I'm here.
Alright, so now we get the choice between Worlds 3 and 4. In this category, we have to do both of them. Both these worlds will both take you to World 5, but in this category, we're going to have to do both of them. I'm going to do World 4 first. As Toda, it really doesn't matter, but if you're playing other characters, usually going to World 4 first will allow you to save about 8 seconds in World 3.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a habit from other categories. Alright, and so World 3 is actually where we get to having to dodge enemies to avoid encounters and little mini boss fights. We saw them in World 2 with the RNG part of it, but it's more prominent here with these Cooligans that we're going to have to pass by later. And that was the first level, and it was really quick. So that level was a vertical level, and it, again, is not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, vertical climbing levels are definitely harder than horizontal levels. You have to, like, as far as getting pretty good movement. This level here is pretty straightforward. Yeah, Acorn is also really good for vertical movement because again, spin jumping is the height of a triple jump, so you gain a lot of height. Spin jump with an Acorn suit.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that, how you saw that he was spin jumping a lot, and that's mainly why, just because more height, more vertical movement.
So you saw that I delayed there, and that is because the fastest time you get here is a 77. This is one of the levels where you would otherwise play as Nabbit, and that's because Nabbit cannot get fireworks. So that's another reason to play as Nabbit in like other PvP attempts.
I wanna quickly shout out those people, those crazy people who run Nabbit only. They are my heroes. I used to run Nabbit only on with boost mode on Wii U back when it was kind of popular.
Okay.
All right, so this fortress, you're seeing that he's actually skipping quite a bit of the vertical movement because of the Acorn suit and because of the spin jump.
This movement in this level is fairly recent, found by me, and we used to have to do this level as Nabbit, but this movement actually saves 3 seconds over using Nabbit.
Yeah, and you may say like, oh, that's just 3 seconds. No, all castles, especially the OG version of New Super Luigi U, it's very optimized. The world record for our OG NSLU is now down to 1 hour, 1 minute, and 50 seconds, which was set like a few days ago from the man you're watching right now.
What are you talking about? You're the world's best NSLU player.
Yeah, the world's best Nabbit player. Not even that. And then, but yeah, Switch version obviously is a little bit slower because of the loads, but I think Toadette is 106.
Yeah, and again, the reason it's significantly slower in this version is just because of loads.
Yeah, Nintendo, please do what you did for Odyssey and Breath of the Wild and patch it.
So, this is the only level where we have in the run where we deal with icy terrain, and when you're running on icy terrain, you accelerate really slowly. So I jumped right off the bat so I can avoid the very slow acceleration. As Toadette, actually, because Toadette slips less than the other characters, she doesn't have ice physics.
Yeah, and I think if I remember correctly, you may have saw that he was ducking when he jumps at some points there, and that's because he was trying not to get hit by the piranha plants. But I'm pretty sure that Toadette's normal height when you're in an acorn, I think it's actually smaller than everybody else's.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Toadette's hitbox is ever so slightly smaller than the other characters. But as of right now, we haven't really found anything where that's useful. But that's just nice to know.
Yeah, and we should mention that every character in this game has their own subcategory for each category of this game. And that's just because some people like running as one character only, like there's Nabbit only, which changes everything drastically. And then some people just like running other characters and don't like running Toadette.
So again, I delayed right there because the fastest time you get is a 77. And so I just did that so I can avoid fireworks. Losing about half a second to wait there is better than losing 15.
Yeah, and if you get into running this game, that's something you want to like really make sure you are aware of, looking to make sure that you don't get double digits at the end. So this is our first ghost house, and we're gonna be getting the normal exit here. So for the most part, there's these spinning boo circles that we have to avoid, that are going to be our main issue, and you'll be seeing that he's actually crouching through like the spaces in between them, which is pretty scary.
That's a lot harder than it looked right there. Well, actually, yeah. It is just as scary as it looks. So
looks pretty scary.
I'm really relieved that I got through that. That's by far the hardest level in World 4 for this category.
Yeah. Somebody asked if there's any character differences. The only character differences is Toadette has Peachette that can be activated. I don't know why I said activated. That can be used in levels. But for the most part, the other characters aren't different except for Nabbit, who doesn't get hurt by enemies, and but can't use power-ups. Yeah, so New Super Luigi, you also had the thing where we separated a category or subcategories where you can use Nabbit and you can't use Nabbit, and the Luigi only all castles world record. I think it's I forget what it is, but I think it's like a 105 if I'm correct.
Mid 102.
102.
For the original game.
Yeah. And again, we're not using Nabbit in here because we only care about new funky mode. That's what we're here for.
Alright, so now we're gonna fight Wendy Koopa. Wendy can sometimes be a jerk, so let's see what happens.
Yeah. So Wendy has these rings that she's gonna shoot out, so that just adds more stuff that we have to avoid.
You also want to make sure you don't jump too high at the spikes.
Yeah. They keep adding more and more things you have to like watch out for in these boss fights. The farther you go. But there we go.
There we go.
And that boss can be a little bit of an issue because sometimes when she pops up, she can actually hit you into the spikes if you bounce on her head. So.
All right. Joey, how's
So we're
World
not
4?
going to World 5 yet because we have to go back to World 3.
King J, how's World 4?
That was also pretty good, I'd say.
Right.
I think overall we're doing pretty decent. Not amazing, but not perfect, but not horrible. Still pretty good.
So yeah, so that does take you to World 5, and there is a very unpopular category called No Secret Levels, where you can skip doing World 3, which is where I'm heading to right now. But it's not a very exciting category because it's just very similar to the Castle, with the exception of subtracting a world.
Yeah.
So this
is World 3. Oh, okay.
Normally we would go up there to pick up Baby Yoshi on our way to World 3, and that's so you could use it for the next level, 3-2. As Toadette, there's another difference that we didn't explain for Toadette, and you're about to see what it is for the next level that makes Baby Yoshi obsolete for Toadette.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So as I mentioned before, Toadette in a speedrun is very similar to the other characters. Toadette saves 8 seconds over the other characters only because of this level.
Yeah. So basically, should I explain it or are you gonna explain it?
I guess I'll explain it now. So this next level is a water level. It's a horizontal swimming water level, and Toadette swims at the rate of a penguin suit from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and it's really fast.
Yeah, and the only reason we would pick up the Baby Yoshis is because this is a water world, and Baby Yoshi's has dashes that they can do underwater, which is the same speed as Toadette normally. So. So yeah, as
Luigi and Toad cannot swim this fast at all.
Yeah, they swim far slower in comparison.
So unfortunately, that was I made a little bit of some movement error right there. You want to minimize the amount of diagonal movement in the water because you move slower when you're swimming diagonally. So I just lost about maybe a second, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and those are like minor optimizations there, like a second of time save that he could have had.
Alright, so now we have the fortress, and the fortress is probably the biggest time save with habits. Because you have to do, otherwise, as you can see right here, you have to do a lot. Okay. Alright, never mind.
Something happened.
It looks like I dropped input there.
Yeah, the Switch is kind of known for that sometimes. Not in a good way. Yes, this is Shish Kebab Tower, and this is definitely a level for Nabbit if you're running with Nabbit.
Yeah, so as Nabbit, this saves about you can save about maybe 6 or 7 seconds because you don't have to wait. You can go through all the skewers, but with Toadette, you gotta do a lot of waiting around.
Yeah. And now we fight Boom Boom again.
So feel free to read donations. This fight's not anything different. If there's any.
We're good for now, but after this game, we do have an incentive for the Resident Evil 2 2019 run with Rufus. That's doing the standard or the hardcore categories. It's just a bid war there. So if you guys have a preference of what category you want to see there, get your money in.
Yeah, get your good donations going, guys. We need to help as many people as we can here. All right, hold on. Let's see if I can.
We'll get back on them. So this is another kind of Ghost Mansion level, except this one's about a haunted ship. Yeah. So instead of like having to go through different doors, this time we just have to watch out for these zombie fish.
Alright, this last part here. Alright, whatever.
And again, on those moving blocks that you saw earlier, again, with the spin jumping, it keeps his momentum.
I did those specific jumps because those specific jumps are set up so I can avoid all those boos that were flying around.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Alright, so now we have the choice between 3-4 and 3-3. Previously, very long time ago, we used to do 3-3 or 3-4 because it was a safer level to do than 3-3. But this level is about, let's say, 4 seconds faster than 3-4. But it is harder.
Yeah, this level is much harder than 3-4. Or the other one, sorry, if it was 3-4. This one also has these cycles because of these waterfalls.
As Nabbit, there's a bit of a YOLO strat where you can get a 77 at the end of this level, but it's like super risky. As Toadette, of course, since you have to avoid everything, it's not, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because I think the best you can get there is, can you get a 176? I don't know.
Yeah, you can get 76.
Okay.
I was on pace for it, but I made a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, so it was like a 2-second error. And again, we're talking about like RTA compared to in-game time. For some reason, Mario seconds are not the same as normal seconds. I think it's like a 76.
In this game, they're real seconds.
Oh, they are? Oh, I thought it wasn't. That's my fault then. And again, this is not a swimming level, so Toadette here is much faster.
Well, Toadette doesn't save a whole lot of time for this level because it's a vertical swimming level, and usually if you can mash really fast, then you can get a pretty good time in this level. You can actually get an 81 at the end of this level, but you have to mash really hard in order to get it, and it's super hard. I've only gotten it maybe like 4 times ever.
Gotta go ham on your controller. Alright, so, and I think the best part about running this on Switch now, that the Deluxe version is out, is that, first of all, there's more categories, and second of all, we don't have to hold a bulky gamepad.
Yeah, so, I guess I'll explain after this level, what he's talking about here. Here's another level that Toadette would save time, because you can actually, you don't carry Baby Yoshi here in the castle, for other characters, because you cannot have a Baby Yoshi inside of a castle, so in this water section, Toadette saves just a little bit of time.
Again, because you can just swim faster.
Alright, so now we're about to fight Larry Koopa. Larry Koopa is, just like most bosses, is always the same as long as it's fighting the same way. Otherwise, he's pretty random, otherwise it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So on the Switch version of this game, you can actually play with either a pair of Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller. I'm using a Pro Controller, usually, and for the Switch version, it typically doesn't matter which controller you use, although handheld mode is technically the fastest control scheme to use, because you can tap on options to, instead of manually selecting them when you're doing menuing. In the Wii U version, it's most people use the gamepad, because anytime like the game asks to save, you just tap the no option instead of manually selecting no. Whereas here, you can just cancel the save button automatically by just mashing B. And you know, the reason we don't play most people don't use the handheld mode on the Switch version is because most people can't really record on the handheld mode. So we just decided that it doesn't matter which controller you use.
Yeah, that, and also like I said earlier, it's better than holding a bulky gamepad on the for the Wii U, because on the Wii U touchscreen you can, like you said, you can tap the no option, and it saves like a few seconds each time, like 2 seconds.
There, I just mashed B to hit no instead of manually selecting no. You cannot do that on the original version.
Alright, so this is where we go back to World 2, and you're probably wondering why we're doing this, and why we went through all the trouble to unlock that secret level. And the reason why is because there's a long airship level before you start World 5, and it's basically an entire like 3-minute auto-scroller that we can't skip. Or is that not in this game, it's still shorter, but it's still a long auto scroller, and there's a boss fight in and stuff like that. So this way, if we do this shorter secret level, this is the fastest secret level that goes to World 5 right away. We can go ahead and skip that airship level and just start off World 5 like normal.
Even though it took me a while to backtrack all the way over here, this still saves time over doing the airship.
I think it saves like 20, right?
This saves about a minute.
Oh wow, never mind. I was way off. And like we said, this level is the fastest out of all of the secret levels that we can do in Luigi U. And there we go. And so you're going to see that, like, and again, even with this extra long cutscene of, like, showing the path unlocking, it's still faster to just go straight to World 5.
Yep. So how was that, King J?
As far as I can see, that is, again, pretty decent. I'm saying the same thing each time, but you're playing pretty consistently, so.
Alright, so now we're heading into World 5. And World 5 is where all castles starts to get pretty interesting. Because World 5 is actually the shortest world in this run. We only do 4 levels. So
yeah.
Even though it looks pretty long, because normally there's an extra area in World 5, we actually don't have to do that.
Yeah, and so this is actually where I was talking. This is why I mentioned at the beginning that the fortresses don't matter as much as finishing off the worlds with the castles. This is why it's called all castles, because we're going to be skipping the Boom Boom fight in this area because we can just get a secret exit and pass right on over it to get to the end of the world faster. And which is kind of unfortunate because World 5's fortress is my favorite because there's a really cool skip in it that we're going to not be able to see, but...
No.
M-Chan won't agree with me on that, but I love that skip.
So in an any percent run, you do 5-1, you do 5-3, and then you do 5 tower, and then you go into the haunted section, do the ghost house, and then there's a secret exit in the ghost house that allows you to go to World 7. In this category, we do a much different path in World 5, and that is so we can get to World 6 quicker.
Yeah. And
we're
again,
gonna do 5-2 here instead of 5-3, as opposed to 80%. And we're gonna get the secret exit here. And this secret exit saves quite a lot of time in World 5.
Yeah. And again, this is gonna pass over the entire like spooky section, so we don't have to go through that, and that's gonna save a couple levels.
Yeah. And it's very nice that the secret exit exists because again the tower. Which would otherwise be the next level after this level, has a very difficult skip. There's a ghost house, and then there's probably 2 of the hardest levels in the entire game, and then RNG. So
yeah.
So this saves like I don't know exactly, but it's like
yeah, it saves. I'd say probably more than like 2 minutes, right?
No.
Something like that. Way more? Okay.
Alright, so this level right here has a very hard strat that I'm gonna go for. Hopefully I can get it.
Ooh, you're going risky.
And this is gonna save about 2 seconds over the safer method that some people would go for.
Yeah, and again, this is what really like differs veterans of the New Super Mario Bros. Series to newcomers.
Alright, we got it.
As you can see, he's fighting for like seconds of time save, while others are just trying to get a deathless run.
The strat where I went underneath one of the Sumo Bros to go on that little like small pipe that's like barely above the poison water, that saves about a second.
Yeah. Small optimizations.
Yeah, this
game is known
made
for.
up of little things that significantly add up over the course of the run, and as a result, this category especially on the original New Super Luigi U game, has went through a lot of changes over the course of 2 years, and most of that has been done by the work of me.
Yeah, this category wasn't actually like a real category for quite a while until more people started running it. It used to be known as kind of a meme category that people would just race for fun. but then and like not many people ran it. I think like one guy ran it a lot, and his name was Dash. And then M-Chan came along, and he took the category down a lot. Like from I think at the time it was like a 106, and he took it down to a 101 now.
Yeah. All right, so
yeah, it's gone through a lot of changes.
This guy is a jerk. So
Yeah, so let me basically, it may look like it's random whenever he drops down, but basically, he has a certain, like, time frame that he can run around, so, M-Chan is actually counting, how many times he runs by, and he knows when he's gonna drop down.
Near the beginning, if you are really lucky, you can actually if you're really lucky, Igikupo can you can like hang out on the wall, and Igikupo can shoot that red fireball at the wall, which saves time. But again, that's random. So it's not in your control whether you get it or not.
Yeah, and that would save time because the red fireball spawns a monster in the lava. So if it hits the wall, it won't spawn that monster, and it saves that amount of time. So that's World 5 done.
Yeah. How was that, Joey?
I mean, there's World 5 is the shortest, so it was good.
Good. All right. Thank you. All right. So coming up now is World 6, and World 6 is probably the hardest world in this run. There's a lot of technical levels, and it's very easy to lose a lot of time in most of these levels, so we'll see how this goes.
And World 6 is it has 2 towers or 2 fortresses instead of just 1, and we're gonna have to go through both of them. And there is gonna be a kind of different routing option than you may think we're gonna do later on, just to make the final level easier for World 6. So this first level, there's a lot of cycles with these fuzzies that we have to worry about. But he got through pretty well, so didn't have to worry about it. By the time I start talking about something, he's already done the level. Like, I can't.
The next level is very straightforward, so if you wanna read any donations, go ahead.
If there are any, that is.
Yeah, still got nothing at the moment, so
Okay.
All right,
you
sounds
keep
good.
going if you want.
All right.
I mean, this level is pretty standard. Exactly. We're like, somebody talk. But yeah, I guess this category has gone through a lot, but it's not really ran as much as any percent. Any percent is really OG NSLU's main category that a lot of people run.
You can get a little pipe boost right there, but I missed it. Saves a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, and there's also the other category we didn't talk about, which is 100%, which does all the Nabbit captures, and it also does it gets all the star coins and beats all the levels, gets all the secret exits, and that one is if you want a really hard category for this
You
game.
want to talk about hidden block clip, by the way?
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're gonna see that he's gonna fly into a hidden block here, and basically if you fly into the first hidden block and keep having the height afterwards, you can go through the other hidden block without activating it. So that's what he did there to get past it.
I actually clipped through both of them, which is usually not very common.
I just saw that. I'd never seen that before. I didn't even know that was possible.
Alright, so this is spoilers, the last Boom Boom fight. This guy has wings, because he drank a lot of Red Bull. His cooldown time for when you can hit him again is a lot longer, but it does make timing him easier, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he also had to cling to the wall there to actually get the first hit on him because he flies up right away. So that, in my opinion, is the hardest Boom Boom fight done with.
There's
So
another route in
now,
World 6 where you can actually get a secret exit in the fortress, but that's slower.
yeah, because if he did the secret exit, that would take him to. First of all, it would take him to an auto scroller. But second of all, we want to go this normal path because there's a red switch, and the reason we're getting this red switch is for at the end of the world, it'll become more apparent why. There's basically, to explain it now, there's 2 entrances to the final, to the castle of World 6, and going through the back exit or the back entrance basically takes you straight to the boss almost. So it's much faster than going to the front entrance, and plus then we skip another level than having to do the front entrance.
There are like 2 different there are 2 different routes for World 6. It used to be debated as to which route was the faster route of the 2, because both routes do the same amount of levels, but the other route you have to deal with about a 1 minute auto scroller.
Yeah. So overall,
you get the
faster.
secret exit here in this level, and that is like King J said, it's gonna take us to a red switch. That's and this red switch is the only way to get to the back entrance of Roy's Castle.
Yeah. And yeah, like he said before, it's mainly just to skip an auto scroller and another. It's not a long level, but it's still a more tedious level than this one was. So now we have our second fortress here, and this one is going to have a pretty annoying boss fight. When this game first came out, the remake, or I guess the port, when it came out for Switch, we thought that they actually patched this boss's hitbox. We were really worried about it. And you'll see what I mean when he starts the boss fight here, so...
This guy still has a pretty bad hitbox, even in the original game.
Yeah.
So, if
basically he's gonna...
If I'm really good, I can actually fly at a very specific time to actually go through his hitbox. When you fly up, with the Super Acorn, your hitbox is a little bit different, so I can actually do some hits like this. Otherwise, I'd have to knock him over an extra time. Oh my gosh. I'd have to have to knock him over an extra time. But doing this allows you to skip doing that. Again, his hitbox is terrible. So you just saw me like struggle on the second hit there. You can actually do that as small Luigi as well, because you have to be at least a 1-tile hitbox in order to go through him like that.
Yeah, and again, that may look really easy, but again, that window to get through there is really hard.
It feels harder as Toadette, but I don't think it's true. It feels harder.
It could just be on the Switch version.
So
it does seem like the Wii version has a easier way of doing that.
Okay, so
Alright, so now we're gonna enter.
So what I was trying to go for there was a recently. It's not really. Well, yeah, it's something that I've started to implement in runs. It's called the 95 door entrance, where if you do a duck jump and do a quick turn at a very specific time, then you can keep your momentum and enter that door with a 95 on the timer. It is random. You have between a 1/3 and 2/3 chance of getting that, because the block that you get at the end of the level is random.
Yeah. So yeah, this is Roy.
Everyone's favorite.
My opinion. Roy's our boy. He's also the longest boss fight because he goes back and forth like 5 times. So, unlike the others where they go back and forth like 3. But he's dead.
So how was World
And now we
6?
move on to World 7. Good, except for that except for the sumo.
Aw, can't make you happy.
That sumo was rough. He wasn't giving you a nice second phase.
All right, so now we're coming. So this is the point where this category meets up with any percent. So everything. If you're familiar with
any percent runs. This is everything in this from here on out will be pretty much the same as any percent.
Yeah, and we have a big RNG part coming up. Our boy Kamek.
Coming up is 7-1. 7-1 is by far my least favorite level in the entire game. There's a very, very tricky part at the very end of the level, and hopefully I can get it. Let's see how this goes.
7-1 is very hard to do optimally, with a lot of banking on the Ice Bros and knowing where they're gonna shoot. So I'm just gonna let him do his thing because I don't want to mess him up.
What's coming up here? Got it.
Nice. That's very hard to do.
Yeah, so that is a 2-frame window to time that spin jump right there. Otherwise, if you are too late, you could if you're too late, you could possibly run off the ice block, and it's very easy for your inputs to get dropped when you're running on ice. So you could just slip off and die, or if you are really too late, then you can get the jump, but you will still get hit and then die.
Yeah. And again, that's like a really risky jump to go for, especially this late into a run.
Right,
so we choose the.
Is fairly straightforward. In New Super Mario Bros. You do 7-3 because it's faster in that game. In this game, it's 7-2 is a lot faster here.
Yeah, and this is one of the levels we would actually use Nabbit for because he can just walk on the.
Well, it doesn't really make a difference. But
the munchers.
In the original game, Nabbit saves 2 frames on flagpole animations, but in this game they changed that because Nabbit also gets extra time, and when you have extra time, the game takes longer. It has to count those extra seconds down.
Yeah. So this one, it doesn't really matter.
All right, so this level is a very, very cool level. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, the fortress. Here we go. This will end in a lot of us praying that they give us good RNG.
No one's ever lost a run to this level. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no one, totally. No one ever.
So that short jump and fly that I did right there is actually tougher than it looks. And that's because sometimes if you're too low, if you time your fly too early there, you can like barely get hit by that dry bone. Sometimes it's a pain.
Yeah.
And this part is just an auto scroller, so not much to talk about. And
yeah, so we're just hanging out at the top. Yeah, so this is where it can get interesting.
Right. So Kamek, great boss, fantastic boss, 0 RNG, purely scripted. No one's ever lost to this guy.
Yeah, never. But doesn't that look weird that he's gonna be spawning in different locations? I don't think that's scripted.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Was that really good RNG?
I am
come
impressed.
on, man. Marathon luck. Look at that. That is really good RNG. Holy. So the boss is completely random. He just happened to... He would always spawn in the middle on the last hit, but he got like the best RNG he could have gotten. Unless he spawned on like the bottom at the start, but even then that would have only saved like maybe half a second.
Yeah, so basically, the blocks that Kamek spawns is at the start of the fight is completely random. Then where he spawns is also completely random for hits 2 and 3, or for hits 1 and 2. So it's basically a guessing game as to where he's gonna be. And then the third hit is always going to be in the middle of the room.
Yeah, and like we said, that usually never goes that smoothly. I don't think any... If you're a new Super Luigi U runner and you've never lost a run to Kamek, you're probably lying.
No,
or you never lost
a run to this guy.
Oh, yeah, totally. What am I talking about? we said this 3 times now.
But without Acorn, that fight, Kamek is a huge pain.
Yeah. That shows to those low percent runners.
Than you would have to deal with.
Yeah. Also, we get the secret exit here because it literally skips like 3 levels.
So you skip a big RNG portion. Yeah, there's even more RNG in World 7 normally. And there's like 2 somewhat tough levels, and then followed by a really long auto scroller, and then the castle.
Yeah, and this castle is again filled with these cycles of these moving blocks that we have to deal with.
So for this part right here, I'm slowing down, and that's so I can get a good cycle on these fire bars. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. That's that's a lot harder than it looks right there.
That's really tricky, yeah. Throughout the run, by the way, you may have saw a few crowns pop out, and you're probably wondering what those are for. Those are only for Toadette, and that's to unlock Peachette.
And like I said, we don't use Peachette for the run.
Yeah. Even though she's the newest funky mode.
Alright, so fight. Normally there's an attack phase that you have to go through, but with the acorn you can completely skip it. Normally he's gonna clone himself 3 times, or he's gonna turn into 3 different clones, and you have to figure out which one's the right Ludwig to hit, which is the one that shoots the most fireballs. Deal with it.
Yeah, then you just jump on him before he hops up and has a chance to do it again. And that's our final boss or our final Koopaling before the big old Bowser fight.
So now we're coming up to the airship, and the airship is normally an auto scroller, but there is a skip that I'm going to attempt to do. It's pretty tricky, but hopefully I can get it.
Yeah, so the airship normally is supposed to be an auto scroller, but we can skip all of it because the screen scrolls with you. It's not an auto scroller per se. So with a bunch of cool jumps, we can skip having to wait on this platform. Alright, so... And also, this is a long cutscene before it starts. And also, these bombs that are going to be showing up, they're pretty difficult to dodge, and if they hit you, then you're going to die because you're going to lose your acorn.
Alright, and there we go.
Nice. And then this is an actual auto-scroller part.
This next part is not really much to talk about. But this gives us time to talk about Bowser Jr. What do you know about Bowser Jr.?
Okay, so we can do the same thing what we did with Ludwig for Bowser Jr., where we can skip his phases by flying up on top, but whether he goes to the left or right, or however his movement goes, is pretty much random. And his hitbox is also really annoying in that Koopa Clown car, so this is gonna, in my opinion, my least favorite boss of the run. And again, just as soon as he's available, he hits him. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
What I did right there, this was found by Latchers recently. If you hang around on the left side when the battle ends, it actually ends this fanfare quicker, because as you just saw, the blocks fall from left to right, and so if you're standing on the left side, the screen transition starts quicker.
Yeah, that was something I was actually thinking about.
And this actually saves a full second.
Yeah, and again, those like small time saves that you wouldn't know about in a casual playthrough, it really adds up over the course of the run for this game. So now we move on to our final world. We're going to Peach's Castle.
Yeah.
So in New Super Mario Bros. U, it would actually be faster for us to get the normal exit in 8-1, but because this is New Super Luigi U and all the levels are only 100 seconds, it's actually faster for us to get the secret exit to just do 1 level instead of 2.
Yeah, and the reason Mario U it saves time to do an extra level for that game is because there's a skip in 8-2 that saves time over doing 8-4. It's an auto scroller in Mario U, but in Luigi U it's just a purely execution level.
Yeah.
But first off, here in 8-1, there are raining fireballs, and there are about 3 random patterns that these fireballs can give you, and this can be a deal breaker for world record attempts, because you can either lose 2 seconds or save 2 seconds.
Yeah, and again, this game is built up off of like small time saves, so losing 2 seconds this late into the game is a pretty big deal just because of RNG.
All right, we got a good pattern.
Nice. Well, RNG has been nice to you today.
Otherwise, as Toadette, you actually, or as Toadette or any other character, you actually have to wait. You have to wait for 4 fireballs to count down. Whereas if you're playing as Nabbits, and you get a bad pattern, you only lose about a second.
Yeah. So thankfully the RNG there was pretty decent. And also you may notice that, I don't know if this is the same thing in Deluxe, I could just be spouting nonsense, but you may notice that at the end of the levels he actually turns away from the flagpole when he grabs it,
Yes.
and that's just because it saves a second or so
It
to...
saves about a few frames, just to turn around.
Yeah. Overall, the course of the run, I think it saves like 5-ish seconds or something like that. And that's because you don't have to watch Toadette switch from one side of the pole to the other. If you face away from the pole and grab onto it backwards, you're already facing the right way.
So this is 8-4. It's a bit of a technical level. I actually did a safer strat right there because there's actually a strat where you can like go underneath that fireball that I went around. But since I'm using Pro Controller, sometimes my button inputs don't read short hops very well, so I didn't want to take the risk there.
Yeah, and that's another vertical level. That level is probably one of the hardest vertical levels in all castles.
So coming up now is elevator skip. Oh boy.
This is really hard.
This level's super hard, but in this game it's fairly simple. There's 2 rooms where you have to ride these elevators. That was the first room right there. The second room, you can go safe or you can go really, really big. Which, in this case, I'm gonna try to go really big.
Ooh, we're being flashy.
And we got it.
Nice. That strat is pretty hard.
So that jump that I just did right there, it's very, very specific because you have to jump low enough so you don't hit that bomb, and you also have to jump high enough so you don't hit the spark.
Yeah, and as you saw, he kind of touched like the spark with his feet, but like it didn't matter because Toadette's hitbox is more from like her waist up.
The spark's hitbox is very small, so it's you have about a few frame window to do that jump.
Yeah, and again, like he could have rode the elevator for like a second and made that jump like a lot easier, but he went for the short time save. So this is the final level.
So this first room is scripted as long as your movement is always the same. I'm gonna go for a very inconsistent 1-second time saver.
Oh, you're going for this?
Okay. Alright, so I didn't do the full thing, but that still saves. I still saved a little bit of time over the strat over the more consistent way.
Oh, nice.
So basically, you can have Bowser Jr. push you forward, and you can, and that actually does speed you up a little bit.
Yeah.
Alright, so coming up is the hardest fight in the entire game.
Yeah, so this is really hard. Let's see if he gets it.
I'm nervous.
I'm so scared.
Woohoo!
Ooh, the one's alive. All right, good. Okay. No, so that's the fake final boss. After New Super Mario Bros. On the actually no, I think it's New Super Mario Bros. 2. They started adding like fake outs for the final bosses. So we have one more thing to do before we can call this a day, and that's Giga Bowser. Also, time is coming up, and it's going to be on the final hit. So
Yeah, it'll be on the 3rd hit.
yeah.
I was gonna see Bowser and Kamek, or Bowser Jr. and Kamek are trying to revive Bowser after that long fall that Bowser suffered through.
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx anything, but this is looking like a really good possible world record pace. So, coming up to Giga Bowser, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be skipping a few cycles with how this boss works. Starting off, we have to wait for Bowser Jr. to slam down like normal, but then after he does the first phase, he can actually take back the Koopa Clown car before.
So first, there's a trick called Fireball Skip right here. It saves
Oh,
2
right.
seconds if I can do this.
I should have mentioned that first.
All right, there we go.
Nice, you got it. So that just makes Bowser Jr. slam down faster. So, like I said, he's gonna, after getting this first hit, he's going to get back in the Koopa Clown car and bop Bowser Jr. before he gets back in first, so that he can just use this and skip the whole fireball shooting that Bowser would do normally afterwards. And this saves minutes on the final boss, like a minute or two.
A lot of time.
Yeah.
All right, so time is about to come up really soon.
Yep.
Time. All right, what is it like? 106.16. That's a new world record.
That's a world record, boys! GG. Wow. The RNG really saved that.
Yeah, that was a really good run.
That's a world record by 9 seconds.
Oh man, I'm really happy with that.
GG, dude. Live world record.
Oh man, I'm really
So
proud of that.
So that's New Super Luigi U. Deluxe. With new funky mode.
GG.
Yeah, thank you. I guess before I go, I wanna thank King J for hanging out with me. I wanna thank JoeDamillio and Miss Hanser for organizing this really awesome event. I'm really happy to be here because Blunt Bunny is one of my favorite Link to the Past runners to watch, and the fact that his sister is going through kind of a rough time right now, it makes me feel obligated that I get to help out for a pretty good cause, and shoutouts to the NSMB community. The NSMB community is a really good community if you're interested in learning this game or any of the other NSMB games in the series. I want to most notably shout out Ewaller. Ewaller was 100% world record at the time, from many years ago. Was one of my inspiration into getting into the original New Super Luigi U, and as well as shoutouts to the Zelda community. Everyone in the Zelda community is awesome. So, yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say, King J?
I hope everybody enjoyed the run, and GG on world record. That was a really good run. And thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you for those kind words, Enchan. Thank you for the commentary, King J. Appreciate you guys coming here and doing the run and all.
Yeah. Of course.
Nice new record too.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's a pretty hefty world record. Getting a world record by 9 seconds in this game is
I'm
really
gonna
good.
have heck of a time to beat this next time because the RNG was super good.
Yeah, that was like all the RNG was super nice to you.
Yeah.
Enchan over here making everyone go to work. I mean, RPG. Our RPG is he's really got to put in that work if he wants to get close to your 16 star time in SM64. He's still like almost 5 minutes off of that.
Ooh.
Yeah, good stuff, Enchan. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
everything again.
Alright. Well, stay tuned, everybody, for more runs in this event. I'm really excited to see what's to come next. Also, please save the animals in Super Metroid.
No, kill them. We need this.
Yeah, it's a good thing I don't think Jack's here right now to hear that, so, you know. We got Resident Evil coming up next by Soph. That'll be pretty dope. So stay tuned while we set up for that real quick.
Alright, thanks guys.
Alright.